Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of Reviews on Tap with me, Ngana Live, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie titled Widows. Widows is a film directed by Steve McQueen. I think it's his third or fourth film. He did Shame, he did 12 Years a Slave, and there's another one he did before he actually stepped into Hollywood, and this is his fourth or third one, Widows. It stars Viola Davis, it stars Liam Neeson, Cynthia Erivo, Colin Farrell, Jon Bernthal, Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah, it's actually quite a few stars on there. Basically what the movie is about, it's about these widows whose husbands were basically like cash heist criminals. So they did this job at the beginning of the movie and something goes wrong and they basically all die, and hence they become widows. This just felt like set it off with just a bigger budget. That's basically how it felt, or a better version of Ocean's 8. So if I were to rank those movies, it would be Set It Off, Widows, and Ocean's 8 at the end. What I noticed in the movie is that there's a lot of attention to detail. If you've heard me say this before, is there's a lot of subtext, things that are not mentioned but was this implied through the camera or the movements of the camera or by actions basically. But you can pick up, you can connect the dots as you're watching, and that's one of the movie's greatest strengths, if you do pick up on that. And at first it just seems like it's something that happened or it's a coincidence, but as you watch the movie and it progresses, you're like, oh no, this is actual serious attention to detail that is being carried out like very like precisely. Apart from that, Viola Davis is just being Viola Davis, just crying and yeah, always crying over a man. Not to reduce it to that, it's just that I hate when I see that. Viola Davis, we know she's one of the greatest actresses or actors of our time, but whenever she gets these roles, it's How to Get Away with Murder, or it's always she's put in a position where she's the strong, black, powerful woman, but who's always somewhere, somehow dependent on a man, and always manages to cry in the movies somewhere there with snot coming out of her nose. I hate it. It's just annoying. I've seen it so many times. Someone who did impress me, and I just watched a movie with her before that, it was Cynthia Erivo. At first it's almost like she's playing a small role, but as the movie progresses, she actually has, like, you can see that she put a lot of effort into carrying out her role. It has Brian Tyree Henry, also known as Paperboy. He seems to be getting a lot of these roles now recently, and his role is actually very enjoyable. He plays this senator or mayor who he's running for being senator or mayor of that community, but he actually comes from a very crooked background. He's actually a former criminal, but he's trying to change and move from that. Him and his brother, who's played by Daniel Kaluuya, is trying to change and just be a politician so he can start getting like clean, straight money. The biggest problem I had with this movie is you've seen how all over the place I've been explaining this movie. That's how the movie felt. It sets up a lot of storylines and a lot of plots, or subplots rather, and it doesn't tie them up. I don't know why. Maybe it was intentional. I even thought this when I was done watching the movie. I was like, this movie, I think Steve McQueen shot a different movie and then edited a different movie, if that makes sense. It's like he wrote and had an idea for a movie, but when he was done shooting everything, he maybe changed his mind, or someone convinced him to change his mind, and then they made another movie. This seemed like it was going to be an extremely like strong and powerful movie, but it just ended up falling into a great idea or great concept that wasn't followed up well. There's no interesting story. Even the heist that takes place in the movie that is carried out by the widows, it's not, there's no climax. It's very anticlimactic. You don't feel a part of it. Everything is just a walk in the park. There's no challenges. Every challenge they come across, they just face and they just overcome the challenge very easily. One of the best things about this movie was, and I know you've heard this a lot of times, it's cinematography, but oh my god, whoever shot this movie was fucking dope. It was just nice to look at. It was nice to watch, and you see a lot of those shots, damn, this looks like a photographer shot this entire movie. In a nice way though, not in a bad way. It looks like a very skilled photographer shot this movie, because there's so many beautiful shots that some did feel like they meant something, some they didn't. There's also the color palette of the movie, which is something I've seen with Steve McQueen. He pays a lot of attention to that, how he pairs his colors, especially in scenes with Viola Davis. There was a lot of black because she's a dark-skinned woman. He would put a lot of white in whichever environment she was in, either white or a very nice color that perfectly contrasts her skin color. So you end up appreciating things like those, like the filmic parts of the film instead of the story itself. Watch it. You should watch it, because it's an okay movie. Just for me, maybe I had my expectations were a bit too high. I expected more than what I got. Yeah, but that's basically about it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Also go check out my channel, 1 Hour Live. There's some local content on there, and then come back and check other videos on here. Once again, subscribe, comment, like, and share, and that's basically about it, guys. I'll see you on the next video.